Hot off the press, just moments ago, we got our new ethanol production numbers for this week, and you be the judge if they're bullish or not. Well, let's take a look at our production, and according to the industry, we cranked out 1.041 million barrels per day last week. How does that compare to the week before? Well, it's up just 6,000 barrels a day, almost a drop in the bucket, as they say. 4-week average only moved down by 2,000 barrels a day. Ethanol stocks, that was a big negative. They increased by 1.4 million barrels, all the way up to 25.9. Yikes. Imports did go back down to zero, though. That's the latest on the ethanol production numbers. Did that have any impact on the corn? Let's take a look. Let's go to the corn board right now. Remember how we were higher overnight? Well, not anymore. March corn now down 4. We're at 6.30 3/4, exactly a dime off of our overnight high. And December new crop corn up just 1 tick, 1/4 cent higher at 5.78 per bushel. Over on the soybean trade, had those 30-cent gains last night, and now we're up 16 3/4 on the March. We're at 15.45 1/4. Let's move on to the wheat trade in Chicago. Our quotes provided by bar chart show the price at 7.70 3/4. That's up just 1 3/4 cents right now. In the Kansas City market, we now have the March a 1.5 higher at 7.87 3/4, kind of in the middle of its trading range. July is up a couple of pennies there. In the spring wheat, you have the March contract in Minneapolis now trading 3 3/4 higher. We're at 9.18 3/4, and that's about 8 or 9 cents off of its earlier overnight high. I want to bring in Todd Bubba Horowitz at BubbaTrading.com. And he's based in Chicago. Todd, the market action today, it just seems tired, but man, oh man, it's had quite a run. Is it just out of breath for the time being, or what?
You know, Marlon, I think we're in great shape. I mean, you expect some natural pullbacks. I mean, actually, the truth is pullbacks.
Well, we may have lost the connection. We'll try and see if we can reestablish
Hello?
that. Oh, there you are, Todd. All right, go right ahead.
Marlon?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
If you can hear me take up your
I got
point
you.
there. All right, go ahead and pick up where you left off.
You got okay. Anyways, the sell-offs are good for corn. They're good for any market that is going higher. I think we're going to see higher prices. And again, we got a little bit of a shock from OPEC this morning with the increased production. After that, I think you're going to see the market start to take off again, just like they did the other day. And I would expect to see much higher prices across the board, corn, wheat, and soybeans.
So are you talking long-term or in the short term already?
Well, I'm talking about both. I think we're going higher, and I think we're going higher. Again, we're going to see some of this inflation stuff going to start to play in here as well. And again, we're going to have, I think, much higher prices as the year moves on, unless we do something to take care of this ridiculous inflation, which I don't see them doing anything. So I think we're going to continue to see prices rise out of natural, and I think we're going to see a much bigger demand and, weigh in some of the other things going around the globe. And I think there's going to be a big demand and a big move higher.
Well, I know we're not talking livestock, we're talking grains here, but would it behoove producers to reward the rally a little bit, maybe add a little percentage now and then to some sales?
I would actually hedge. I wouldn't sell. It's always perfect to be hedged, but this is the perfect time to be hedged because you can continue to ride up the basis. If we continue to go higher and if they collapse, you know where your exit point is based on where you hedged at. So again, this is a point where I'd like to ride them, and I would never give up the upside of the potential market here because I think the upside it could be dramatic depending on what happens in the general economy. So I would never give up the upside. I would hedge. I would not be selling any stuff. I'd be holding and hedging and looking for much, much higher prices.
Very intriguing stuff. Thanks, Todd, for offering that. I appreciate it. Always good to hear from you. Todd Bubba Horowitz, BubbaTrading.com in Chicago. We'll be back in a moment. We'll look at livestock right after this.